Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing very well. For the next installment of Caps Have Donut Legacy Early Cold War Fighters that we need/want in DCS, the mighty Dassault Mirage F1. My first thoughts and how I really got into aviation, I remember my older brother used to have Airfix models all over hanging over his ceiling, and I specifically remember this one. Before I managed to find a way of getting him off the ceiling and destroying them, I remember the Mirage F1, I think in naval colours. And it always interested me, although I never really knew anything about the Mirage F1, and to be honest I haven't got around to studying it yet, so this is going to be interesting for me certainly. The Dassault Mirage F1 is a French fighter and attack aircraft designed and manufactured by Dassault Aviation. It was developed as a successor to the popular Mirage 3 family. During the 1960s, Dassault commenced development of what would become the Mirage F1 as a private venture, alongside the larger Mirage F2. Work on the F1 eventually took precedence over the more costly F2, which was cancelled during the 1960s. The French Air Force Armed Lair took interest in the fledgling fighter to meet its requirements for an all-weather interceptor aircraft. During the latter half of 1974, the Mirage F1 entered service in the French Air Force. Shortly thereafter, the type was deployed as a main interceptor of the French Air Force, a capacity which it continued to serve in until the arrival of the Mirage 2000. It later transitioned to an aerial reconnaissance role. During June 2014, the last French Mirage F1 was retired from service. It was on my bucket list. I never got to see it, and I will not get to see it. Powered by a single Snecma ATAR 9K50 turbojet engine, which provided about 7 tons of force, 15,000 pounds of thrust, and armed with an array of French and American source armaments, the Mirage F1 has been operated as a light multi-purpose fighter and has been exported to around a dozen nations. The type has seen action in a large number of armed conflicts involving several of its operators, including the Western Sahara War, Parkisha War, Sinapar War, the Iran-Iraq War, didn't know that, the Gulf War, didn't know that, and the South African Border War, war in Afghanistan, the Chadian-Libyan conflict, 2011 military intervention with Libya, and the Northern Mali conflict. More than 720 Mirage F1s were manufactured between 1966 and 1992. The F1 design. The Mirage F1 emerged from a series of design studies performed by French aircraft manufacturer Dassault Aviation. Dassault decided to study a single-seat derivative which featured the all-French Snecma ATAR 9K50 turbo engine. As a result of the cancellation of two major projects, the company's design team found themselves with a decreased workload. Accordingly, in mid-1964, Dassault decided to commence design work on the smaller aircraft, subsequently designated as the Mirage F1, with the intention of producing a successor to its Mirage 3 and Mirage 5 fighters. This work was performed under a government contract in anticipation of a potential French Air Force specification for an all-weather interceptor to succeed its fleet of Mirage 3C aircraft. The Mirage F1 was of similar size to the Delta Wing Mirage 3 and Mirage 5 and was powered by the same Snecma ATAR. Unlike its predecessors, it shared the layout of a swept wing mounted high on the fuselage and a conventional tail surface. Although it had smaller wingspan than the Mirage 3, the Mirage F1 nevertheless proved to be superior to its predecessor, carrying more fuel while possessing a shorter takeoff run and superior maneuverability. On the 23rd of December 1966, the prototype conducted its maiden flight. The Dassault Mirage F1 was a single-engine fighter aircraft designed to function as both an interceptor and as a capable ground attack platform. While officially developed for the French Air Force as a capable air defense aircraft, Dassault had placed considerable emphasis on developing the Mirage F1 for ground attack duties as a secondary role during its early design. Developed by the company to function as a successor to the successful Mirage 3 and Mirage 5 families, it drew heavily upon its predecessors as well, sharing the same fuselage as the Mirage 3, didn't know that, while adopting a considerably different wing configuration. If you think it suddenly turned into a Delta, I believe that is a Mirage 2000N, I think. Cool picture there with the F1 with its assortment. Cluster munitions, unguided rockets, training, dumb bombs, GBUs, probably Magic, I'm assuming there, and a cannon. General characteristics. Crew 1. Length 50 feet. Wingspan 27.5 feet. Height 15 feet. Wing area 270 square feet. Empty weight 16.3 thousand pounds. Gross weight 24,000 pounds. Max takeoff weight £36,000. Power plant again is the SMECMA ATAR 9K50 afterburning turbojet we've got here, rated at £16,000 with afterburner. Performance, maximum speed, 1453 miles per hour at 36,000 feet. That's actually pretty good. Maximum speed, Mach 2.2. I had no idea that was so fast. Pretty cool. Combat range, we've got 264, 230 nautical miles here. High, low, high, Mach 0.7578 with 14 quarter-ton bombs. Ferry range, 1800 nautical miles. Endurance, 2 hours and 15 minutes. Cap with those Super 530s. And a centerline drop tank. Surface ceiling, 66,000 feet. This thing kinematically is amazing. I had no idea. Rate of climb, 47,000 feet, 800. Really good. Thruster weight, 0.66. Not so good. Armament, 2 times 30mm Defa cannons that we get in the Mirage 2000. 150 rounds per gun. Hardpoints, 1 centerline pylon, 4 underwing and 2 wingtip pylons with a capacity of 14,000 pounds. Practical maximum loadout, 8.8 thousand pounds with precision to carry combination of rockets, 8 times Matropods, with each having the 1868 mils. Bombs, various as you can see in the picture, including guided bombs, reconnaissance pods, drop tanks, missiles. 2 times A9 Sidewinders or Matra R55 Magics on wingtip pylons. 2 times Super 530F Fox 1s. Interesting. 1 times AM 39 X anti-ship missile. Wasn't aware of that. 2 times AS30L laser guided missiles. Cockpit view. Pretty cool. Actually reminds me of a Mirage 2000. The layout. I know you'd have a kind of radar screen there for a Mirage rather than up here. But that general layout actually looks quite Mirage 2000 to me. Let me know what you think about that. But it looks pretty conventional for the time, pretty cool. Mirage F1 interesting facts. In July 2017, ATAC, Airborne Tactical Advantage Company, purchased 63 former French Air Force Mirage F1 aircraft from the government of France. Included in the purchase were several million spare parts, ground support equipment, and over 130 spare ATAR 9K50 engines. ATAC's purchase of the F1 marks the largest global sale of such aircraft to a private company. ATAC intends to upgrade the Mirage F1 fleet with sophisticated avionics and training systems in order to meet the training requirements of the US servicemen and women in the future of the US Department of Defense adversary air support contracts. The ADIR award, estimated $7.5 billion over 10 years, would contract out nearly 37,000 flight hours to provide adversarial air services, filling the gaps at the USAF's 57th Wing Weapons School and Red Flag training events, as well as operational test and evaluation missions at Nellis Air Force Base, Nevada. To me, that sounds like the Americans are buying it as Red 4, which is interesting. And that is, I don't know if that's real or mock-up, but that's a modernised Mirage F1 all those years later.
That looks nice.
It does look nice. It's cool. Really exciting. And we've got the original cockpit here. That's it. I hope you enjoyed the Mirage F1 and see you later.